Good morning, guys. Mahesh, are you getting my voice? Okay. Remaining, get ready. Bye, Mahesh. Remaining, go ready. Satish. Mahesh. Brian, you are remaining, go Larry. Mahesh, group lo message చేయండి. Guys, are you getting my voice? Is it okay, my voice? Guys, are you getting my voice? Is it okay, the voice?
No, sir.
Voice out లేదా? వస్తుంది కదా?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్.
Okay. Okay, see, today we are going to see the new concept for the types of operating systems. Okay, briefly we will see them. What are the various types of operating system that we have. Again, we will see the same topic in the next classes also. Now we will see the types of operating systems. Briefly, we will see in this class. Next, again, for each one, we will see in the detail in the future classes. Here in this class, we will briefly see what are the various types of operating systems that are available. There are many types of operating systems exist in the current scenario. Presently, many types of OSs are available. Some important types are batch operating system, multi-programming operating system, multi-processing operating system, real-time operating system. These are some important ones. Okay, like this, many are there. These are the few operating systems that we are going to discuss. Those four are batch operating system, multi-programming, multi-processing, real-time. Clear? వీటి నుంచి విన్నారండి? Batch operating system, multi-programming, multi-processing, real-time. Have you listened about these things? Anybody have any idea about these? Any one of you have any idea about these things? Okay, leave it. Now we will see the first one, batch operating system. Here, what is this batch operating system? In one line, if you want to define this batch operating system, in case of batch operating system, the jobs are submitted to the computer in the form of batches. Okay, whenever we have the multiple jobs are there, the jobs will be submitted to the computer system in the form of batches. That's why this operating system is called a batch operating system. It will accept the jobs in the form of batches, like our lab batches. For example, if your class has 100 members, okay, and the lab contains only 10 equipments are there, then what we will do, we will divide the 100 students into 10 batches. First 10 batches students will be one batch, second 10 members will be one batch, like that. Batch 1, batch 2 we will send to the lab. Why? Because only 10 computers are there, we have 100 students. Similarly, the same logic will be followed in this batch operating system. Here what will happen is the operating system will accept the jobs in the form of batches. That's why this operating system is known as the batch operating system. When we come to this batch operating system, generally user cannot directly communicate with the computer. User has no direct interaction with the computer. Between user and the computer, one computer operator will be there. The user will submit the jobs to the computer operator, and that computer operator will submit those jobs to the computer. Between user and the computer, direct interaction is not available in case of batch operating system. Okay, in the middle of the user and the computer operating system, there we have the computer operator will be there. Now we will briefly see those things again. Okay, in one line, what is the batch operating system means? In one line, simply batch operating system means here the OS will accept the jobs in the form of batches. The operating system will accept the jobs to the computer in the form of batches. That's why this operating system is called a batch operating system. See the points about the batch operating system. This batch operating system was used in 1970s. The batch operating system was used. Okay, in the era of 1970s, batch operating system is very popular. Jobs are executed batches. Okay, in this batch system, the jobs were executed in the batches. In the form of batches, they are executed. Here, people are using a computer called mainframe. The single computer that is used by the people is called the mainframe. Okay. Here, at the time, the computers that are used by the people are known as the mainframes. Mainframe computers. Generally, when we come to mainframe computers, their size is very large. The size and cost of mainframes is very large size. The size is like one big room. Okay, the size of the mainframes computers is equal to our seminar hall. Now its size will be like our seminar hall. Its size will take one huge room or one huge building like that. The sizes are very large and cost is also very high. That's why these mainframe computers are at that time only used by the government companies and the large private companies, only big companies only are able to use this mainframe computer. Normal companies and ordinary people are unable to use these computers. Okay, the batch operating system is used in the mainframes. See, in this system, there is no direct interaction between the user and the computer. In this batch operating system, there is no direct interaction between the user and the computer. The user has to submit a job to the computer operator. Whenever the user has a job, he will submit the job to the computer operator. He will approach the computer operator and he will submit the job to the computer operator. Clear? How he will submit the job to the computer operator means, for giving the computer, at that time we don't have the compilers, languages are not there, high level languages are not there, that's why, okay, they will use the machine language only, they will use a punch card. Okay, what is the machine language contains? What a machine language contains? Machine language ఏమి ఉంటుంది?
Zeros and ones.
Zeros and ones. See, guys, ఎవరో disturbance create చేస్తున్నారండి. Who is that person? Please mute. Okay, see, already we know at the time they are using the machine language only. Okay, what the machine language contains? Machine language contains zeros and ones. Okay, how they will give the program to the machine means, the machine language program will be given to the computer operator by using punch cards. Okay, that means they are using a special designed cards. Okay, in that card, if zero is present, they will make a punch. They will make a hole to indicate zero. Absence of punch card, hole means it is treated as one. Whenever zero is there, there will be a hole at that place, and for one there is no hole. Okay, like that, the information, whatever the job we want to give to the computer, the information is given in the form of the punch cards. Clear? The user has to submit the job to the computer operator. So when we can come back to the batch operating system, the main point is, in case of batch operating system, there is no direct interaction between user and the computer. Okay, between user and the computer operator will be there. The user has to submit the job to the computer operator. The user will submit the job to the computer operator. Then the computer operator places a batch of several jobs on an input device. Okay, what the computer operator will do is, he will collect jobs from various users and he will create batches of jobs. For example, 10 different users are there. User 1 will give job 1, user 2 will give job 2, user 3 will give job 3, like that user 10 will give the job 10. All those 10 jobs will be taken by the operator. Then he will divide those 10 jobs into batches. For example, he divides those 10 jobs into 5 batches. Each batch contains 2 jobs. He will divide those 10 jobs, total 10 jobs from 10 users into 5 batches. At a time, one job will be given to the input device. First, he will submit the first job. Next, he will submit the second job. Next, he will submit the third job, like that. Okay, the user will hand over the job to the computer operator. After collecting all the jobs, the computer operator will form batches and he will submit each batch to the input devices of the computer. Yes. The how he will make the batches means, he will make the batches, jobs are formed into batches basing on their language and requirement. Okay, basing on what type of jobs, all the similar jobs will be grouped into one batch. For example, 2 jobs are related to mathematical calculations, so those 2 will be formed into one batch. 2 jobs are related to printing name, so those 2 will be grouped into one batch. 2 jobs are related to some other work, so they will be batched into one, they will be formed into one batch. Like that, basing on what is the requirement of the job, the jobs will be formed into batches. Okay, inside the computer, there is a special program inside the computer called monitor. Inside the computer, there is a special program called monitor. Okay, this monitor will take care of the execution of the jobs in the batch. Whenever a batch is given to the computer, okay, the monitor program which is inside the computer will take care of execution of those jobs. Okay, first batch one will be given to the computer. Inside the computer, that batch one will go to the monitor program. The monitor program will execute the two jobs in the batch one. Again, it will receive the second batch. It will execute the jobs in the second batch. They will be executed. Then it will receive the third batch. Again, they will be given to the monitor. Like that, the jobs submitted to the computer are executed by the special program called the monitor. Okay, this monitor program is available in the main memory, and it is always waiting for the jobs to execute. Okay, this is briefly this one batch operating system. When we come to this BVS, okay, here the main points is the there is no direct interaction between the user and the computer. When we come to the batch operating system, directly user has no interaction with the computer. Between the user and the computer, there is a computer operator will be there. Okay, the users will submit the jobs to the computer operator. The computer operator will collect all the jobs from the users and he will form batches. Okay, basing on the requirement of the job, he will form batches. He will form batches. Okay, then after the batch is given to the computer, inside the computer there is a special program called monitor. Okay, who is responsible for executing those jobs? The monitor program inside the computer is responsible for executing the jobs in the batch. That is briefly this batch operating system. Clear? అప్పుడే మీకు సిలబస్ అయిపోయినాయి మళ్ళీ ముందు రికార్డ్ అవుతుంది ఇది. Is it clear? Batch operating system ఓకేనండి. Briefly, what is batch operating system?
సార్ ఏం అర్థం అవ్వట్లేదు.
టాపిక్ అర్థం కావట్లేదా? వాయిస్ అర్థం కావట్లేదా?
వాయిస్ అర్థం కావట్లేదు సార్.
సిగ్నల్ ప్రాబ్లం వస్తుందండి. ఇది సాల్వ్ అయిపోయింది. కాలేజీలో చెప్పమంటారు వీళ్ళు క్లాసులు, ఈ కాలేజీలోనే సిగ్నల్ కట్ అయిపోతూ ఉంటుంది.
సార్ నిన్న 4th జనరేషన్ అక్కడ నుంచి చెప్పాలి సార్. ల్యాప్టాప్ ఆగిపోయిందని చెప్పలేదు సార్.
4th జనరేషన్ ఒక పాయింట్ అయినట్టుందండి. సరే
4th 5th చెప్పాలి సార్.
ఇంకా 5th లేదండి, అదే లాస్ట్ జనరేషన్ 4th. ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్ లో ఏంటంటే వి డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ఓఎస్. ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్ వచ్చేటప్పటికి ఏంది, దెర్ ఇస్ నో ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ యూజ్డ్ ఇన్ ద ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్. Why? Because the first generation are purely used only for first generation computers are purely used for doing mathematical calculations. So at that time there is no need of operating system. Okay, especially there is no need of the operating system in case of the first generation. That is the thing. When we come to the first generation computers are run without any operating system. Why? Because at that time the first generation computers are only used for doing simple mathematical calculations. That's why operating systems were not necessarily needed. Okay, when we come to the second generation computers, the first OS was used in the second generation computers. Okay, the first operating system was developed by a company called General Motors. The first operating system is called GMOS. What is the first operating system is? The first OS is the GMOS. G stands for General, M stands for Motors. Okay, GMOS was developed by a company called General Motors. It developed the first OS for the machine whose name is IBM 701. For the computer machine IBM 701, the first OS was developed by the General Motors, whose name is called GMOS. Clear? This is the first operating system. The first operating system was developed in the second generation of the computers. Clear? Here the first operating system are called the single stream batch processing systems. The first generation OS are called the single stream batch processing systems. Why? Because for these OSs the jobs are given in the form of batches. Okay, whenever the jobs has came, the jobs are divided into the batches and the jobs are given to the computer in the form of batches. That's why the first generation OSs are called as the single stream batch processing systems. They are called the single stream batch processing systems or simply batch operating systems. Why? Because for these first generation operating systems, jobs are given in the form of batches. Clear. At that time, the computers we have used at that time are called mainframes. Okay. In the second generation, the computers we have used are called the mainframe computers. They are called as the mainframes. Okay, generally when we come to these mainframes, their size is very large and also cost is very high. Their cost is very high and also their size is very huge. Since their cost is very high, only government companies and the large companies are able to use these. Ordinary companies and ordinary people are unable to use the second generation computers. This is briefly the second generation. When we come to the second generation, okay, in the second generation, the computers we have used are mainframe computers. In the second generation of the computers, we have used the mainframes. Okay, the mainframe computer size is very large and cost is also very high. That's why only limited people are using these mainframes. And for these mainframes, in the second generation, the first OS was developed for the mainframes. Okay, the first operating system was developed by General Motors Company for the machine IBM 701. To run the machine IBM 701, they developed the first OS whose name is GM OS, General Motors Operating System. That is the second generation. Next, when we come to the third generation, okay, the third generation operating systems are able to support multi-programming. The third gen up to the second generation OS is able to support only one job at a time. It can execute only one job. After one job is completed, then only it will start executing second job. They are single programming. But when we come to the third generation of computers, okay, in the third generation of computers, the operating systems are able to develop the multi-programming. They are supporting the multi-programming. That means the computers are able to perform multiple jobs at the same time. Okay. In the third generation, the operating systems are able to support the multi-programming. That means it is able to accept the multiple jobs at a time. In the second generation, the OS is able to accept one job at a time. After the first job is completed, then only it will accept the second job. After the second job is completed, then only it will accept the third job. But when we come to the third generation, happily it is able to support the multi-programming. That means it is able to accept the multiple jobs at a time. Since it is supporting multiple jobs, the advantage we got is, okay, we are able to happily use the CPU 100%. Since because of this multi-programming which is supported by the third generation OS, okay, the user is able to use the CPU 100%. They are able to use the CPU with 100%. Always the CPU is busy. If one task is over, immediately second task will be there. After it is immediately third task will be run. Okay, CPU, we are able to utilize the CPU 100% with the concept of this multi-programming. మనం నెక్స్ట్ చెప్పుకుంటా ఉంది మళ్ళీ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్ లో కూడా ఇది వచ్చింది మల్టీ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్. అగైన్ we will discuss this multi programming more detail. In more detail we will discuss this multi programming. ఇది యాక్చువల్గా దీని పాయింట్ కాదండి, బై మిస్టేక్ కాపీ అయింది. ఈ గ్రీన్ లైన్స్ లో ఉంది, మనది కాదు. లీవ్ ఇట్ దట్ వన్. This is the third generation. In the third generation, the operating system designers were able to develop the system of multi-programming, in which a computer will be able to perform multiple jobs at the same time. Okay, this introduction of multi-programming was a major part in the development of operating systems because it allowed a CPU to be busy in nearly 100%. ఈ రెండు క్లియర్ అండి. ఫస్ట్ 3 క్లియర్, ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్, సెకండ్ జనరేషన్, థర్డ్ జనరేషన్. ఏమైనా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉన్నాయా? Do you have సింపుల్ గా వన్ లైన్ లో ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్ కంప్యూటర్స్ డస్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్. Why? Because at that time first generation computers are only used for doing simple mathematical calculations. So at that time there is no need of operating system. In the first generation computers we don't have any operating system. Okay. Next, when we come to second generation, in the second generation first operating system was developed in the second generation of computer. Okay, during the second generation, mainframes computers are regularly used. At that time, which computers are used? Mainframes are used. Okay, for those mainframes, in the second generation, the first operating system was developed by the General Motors. The name of the first operating system is GMOS. It is the first operating system which was developed by the General Motors for the machine IBM 701. For the machine IBM 701, they have developed the first operating system. Clear? See, at that time, the first operating system, GMOS, will accept the jobs only in the form of batches. It will accept the jobs only in the form of batches. That's why it is called a single stream batch processing systems. Okay, the GMOS will accept the jobs only in the form of batches. That's why it is known as the single stream batch processing system. Clear? At that time, the machines we have used are called as the mainframes, and they can be used only by the professional operators. The mainframe computers are unable to use it by everyone. Everyone is unable to directly use the mainframe computers. Only computer professionals are able to use the mainframe computers, and also their size and cost is very high. Only government companies and large private companies are able to use that mainframe computers. That is the second generation. Next, when we come to the third generation, in the third generation of the computers, the OS developers has developed the multi-programming operating system. The developers has developed the multi-programming operating system. What is this multi-programming operating system means? In case of multi-programming operating system, the computer is able to perform multiple jobs at the same time. In case of this multi-programming operating system, the computer is able to develop the multiple jobs at a time. Okay, with the development of this multi-programming operating system, the user is able to utilize the CPU 100%. He is able to utilize the CPU 100%. He is efficiently using the CPU. Okay, the CPU cannot sit idle. Okay, always the CPU is busy. We are efficiently using the CPU. That is the third generation. You moved clearly in the first generation, second generation, third generation. Is it clear these three generations?
Sir.
And doubts? Which doubts Samaya?
No, sir.
Next, when we come to the fourth generation, okay, fourth generation is presently what we are doing. ఈ fourth generation operating system వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఏమైందంటే అండి, personal computers develop అయ్యాయి. With the help of this fourth generation operating system వల్ల advantage ఏంటంటే, in the fourth generation of the computers, personal computers has developed. Personal computers అంటే nothing but our laptops, mobiles, desktop systems, and individual users, ordinary people కూడా కంప్యూటర్ యూజ్ చేయడం మొదలు పెట్టారు. కంప్యూటర్ కాస్ట్ తగ్గింది ఫోర్త్ జనరేషన్కి వచ్చేటప్పటికి. ద కాస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద కంప్యూటర్స్ అండ్ సైజ్ ఆఫ్ ద కంప్యూటర్స్ ఆర్ రెడ్యూస్డ్ వెరీ మచ్. కాస్ట్ తగ్గింది, అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం సైజ్ తగ్గింది. మెయిన్ ఫ్రేమ్స్ ఒక లార్జ్ రూమ్ సైజ్ ఉంటే ఫోర్త్ జనరేషన్కి వచ్చేటప్పటికి ఏమైంది అంటే చిన్న సైజ్కి వచ్చేసాయి. మనకు తెలుసు కంప్యూటర్ సైజ్ ఎంత ఉందని మనం చూసాము. అలాగే మెయిన్ ఫ్రేమ్స్ కాస్ట్ వెరీ హైగా ఉంటే ఆర్డినరీ కంప్యూటర్ సైజ్ వచ్చేసి ఒక 25,000, 30,000 లేదా 50,000. ద కాస్ట్ ఈజ్ రెడ్యూస్డ్. ఓకే, when we come to the second generation, the fourth generation, the size and the cost of the computers has tremendously reduced. The size and cost has tremendously reduced. Size baga తగ్గిపోయింది, కాస్ట్ తగ్గిపోయింది. So that personal computers has developed. Okay, దీనివల్ల ఏదంటే పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ డెవలప్ అయ్యాయి. అంటే పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ అంటే ఏం లేదండి, ఇప్పుడు నా ల్యాప్టాప్ నా పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్, నేను నా వర్క్ కోసం వాడుతున్నాను. ఇదే కంపెనీకి సంబంధించింది కాదు, ఎవరి కోసం వాడట్లేదు, నా పర్సనల్ యూస్ కు వాడుతున్నాను. మన మొబైల్స్ అన్ని పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్, మన పర్పస్ కే మనం వాడుకుంటున్నాం. దే ఆర్ నాట్ రిలేటెడ్ టు కాలేజ్ ఆర్ ఎనీ కంపెనీ ఆర్ ఎనీథింగ్. అలాంటి వాటిని ఏమంటే పర్సనల్ యూస్ కోసం వాడే వాటిని పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ అంటాము. ఓకే, ద ఫోర్త్ జనరేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్ ఆర్ ద క్రియేషన్ ఆఫ్ పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటింగ్. దట్ మీన్స్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్. ఓకే, a personal computer was so affordable means very cheap in cost. A personal computer was so cheap that it made it possible for an individual could be able to own one for personal use. ఓకే, ఈ పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ ఎంత చీప్ కాస్ట్ లోకి వచ్చాయంటే ఇండివిజువల్ ఆర్డినరీ పీపుల్ కూడా దే ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు పర్చేజ్ ఏ కంప్యూటర్. ద పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ ఫర్ దట్ మచ్ ఆఫ్ చీప్. ఓకే, బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్, ఈ పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ రావడానికి ఒక మెయిన్ రీజన్ ఏంటంటే డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్. Who is responsible for the development of personal computers means one major factor in the creation of personal computing was development of Windows operating system. Okay, ఈ పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ అన్ని ఎప్పుడు బాగా లైన్ లోకి వచ్చాయి అంటే విత్ ద డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ద పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ హ్యాస్ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్ వెరీ మచ్. ఓకే, మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ కంపెనీ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అయ్యి విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ డెవలప్ అవ్వడం వల్ల ద పర్సనల్ కంప్యూటర్స్ హ్యాస్ వెరీ మచ్ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్. One major reason for the development of personal computers is Windows operating system of Microsoft. With the help of this Windows operating system of Microsoft, the use of personal computers has very much increased. Very much increased. See, ఈ విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఎప్పుడు వచ్చింది అంటే in 1975 Windows operating system was developed by Paul Allen and Bill Gates. These two people has founders of the Microsoft. They too established a company called Microsoft and they developed one operating system called Windows operating system. After the development of Windows operating system, the use of personal computers has very much increased. Okay, ordinary people also started to use the personal computers with the invention of the Windows operating system by the company Microsoft. Okay, the first Windows operating system is MS-DOS. The first Windows operating system is MS-DOS, Microsoft DOS. DOS means distributed operating system. Okay, the first MS-DOS distributed operating system. The first OS was the MS-DOS. It was came to the public in 1981. It came to the market in 1981. ఓకే, అయితే MS-DOS ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే it is in the form of commands. The operating of the working of the MS-DOS is purely in the form of commands. అదన్ని కమాండ్స్ రూపంలో ఉంటుందండి. ఓకే, కమాండ్ ఓరియంటెడ్ MS-DOS ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ is purely in the form of cryptic commands. అన్ని కమాండ్స్ రూపంలో ఉంటాయి. ఏ వర్క్ చేయాలన్నా it will be in the form of commands only. అది ఎలా ఉంటుందో మన ఫ్యూచర్ చూద్దాం. వాట్ ఆర్ దోస్ కమాండ్స్ we will see in the future. ఓకే, ఆఫ్టర్ MS-DOS తర్వాత చాలా డెవలప్మెంట్ జరిగింది. ఇంకా విండోస్ సంబంధించిన చాలా వచ్చాయి. ద ఫస్ట్ MS-DOS, ఆ తర్వాత విండోస్ 95 వచ్చింది, తర్వాత విండోస్ 98 వచ్చింది, విండోస్ XP వచ్చింది, విండోస్ XP2 వచ్చింది, సర్వీస్ ప్యాక్ 1 వచ్చింది, సర్వీస్ ప్యాక్ 2, తర్వాత విండోస్ 7, విండోస్ 8, విండోస్ 10. ఓకే, కరెంట్లీ విండోస్ 11 కూడా బయటకు వచ్చిందండి మార్కెట్ లోకి. విండోస్ 11 ఆల్సో హ్యాస్ రిలీజ్ టు ద మార్కెట్. కదా ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కువగా విండోస్ 10 వాడుతున్నాము. విండోస్ 11 ఆల్సో ఎంటర్డ్ ఇన్ టు ద మార్కెట్. ఓకే, లైక్ దట్. ఓకే, ద Microsoft in the 4th generation, Microsoft has developed the Windows operating system. It released various versions of the Windows operating system. First version is MS-DOS, second version 95, 98, XP, XP1, SP1, SP2. Okay, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, like that. Many versions has released. Clear? Next, along with Microsoft, while Microsoft is developing this Windows operating system, Apple company also developed. Okay, another company called Apple, which is founded by the Steve Jobs. Okay, who is the founder of Apple company? While Microsoft is developing the Windows operating systems, at that time in 1980s, Apple company was established by the Steve Jobs, and they also developed one more operating system called Apple Macintosh. The OS developed by the Apple company is Apple Macintosh. Okay, Mac OS antandi, Apple iPhone undi. Okay, they will use the Mac OS only. Okay, Steve Jobs has developed one more operating system called Apple Macintosh. Okay, while Microsoft is developing this one Windows operating systems, the Apple company also developed the another operating system called Apple Macintosh. Okay, okay, these two companies have a large competition. These two have the good competition. Okay, They are developing the Windows. At the same time, against to them, Apple company is developing the Macintosh. Windows developed throughout the later years were influenced with the Macintosh, and it created a strong competition between these two companies. ఓకే, విండోస్ లో ఇన్ని వర్షన్స్ ఎందుకు వచ్చాయంటే వాళ్ళు వీళ్ళకి మ్యాకింటోష్ కి ఆపోజిట్ గా కాంపిటీషన్ గా దే ఆర్ మాడిఫైయింగ్ దేర్ విండోస్. ఓకే, మ్యాకింటోష్ లో ఏదైనా కొత్త ఫీచర్ వచ్చింది అంటే అగైన్ విండోస్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో విండోస్ మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో అప్డేటింగ్ దేర్ ఓఎస్. వాళ్ళకు కూడా ఆ ఫీచర్ యాడ్ చేస్తూ అప్డేట్ చేసుకుని వచ్చారు. ఓకే, they have a huge competition between these two companies. Okay, because of these two companies, okay, ఈ రెండు కంపెనీస్ వల్ల కాంపిటీషన్ వల్ల ఏంటంటే the OS is very much developed. Operating system has developed very much. Many features are added to the operating systems. Okay, nowadays we are using this Microsoft Windows operating system or Apple Macintosh operating system. In almost all computer devices we are using the OS. Nowadays we are using that OS in almost all computing devices. ATM machines have operating system. Okay, smartphones have operating system, mobile phones have OS, laptops have OS, computers have OS, ATM machines have OS. Okay, like that wherever we have TV remote have operating system. TV remote also contains the OS. Wherever we have technology, okay, there we are using the OS. Okay, because of the development of this fourth generation Windows operating system and Apple Macintosh. Okay, in all the use of the computer devices has increased very much. Almost in every area they are using this OS. For దాంట్లో కంప్యూటర్ OS యూజ్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నారండి. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు మనకి సెన్సార్స్ ఉన్నాయండి. దే ఆల్సో కంటైన్ ద ఓఎస్. ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఉంటుంది, సెన్సార్స్ లో ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, మొబైల్స్ ఉంటుంది, ఏటీఎం మెషిన్స్ లో ఉంటుంది, ఏటీఎం కార్డ్ లో ఉంటుంది, క్రెడిట్ కార్డులు క్రెడిట్ కార్డ్ లో ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, లైక్ దిస్ ఎవ్రీవేర్, ప్రతి చిప్ లో కూడా వీ హ్యావ్ ద ఓఎస్. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ ద బ్రీఫ్ హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ ద ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్. This is briefly the history of the operating system. The fourth generation is this one. In the fourth generation, personal computers was very much increased. How the personal computers have increased means the reason for the increasing of the personal computers is invention of the MS Windows operating system. Okay, with the invention of the Windows operating system by the Microsoft, the use of personal computers has very much increased in the fourth generation. That is from 1980. వాయిస్ సరిగ్గా రావట్లేదంటే కొంచెం సిగ్నల్ ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చిన, ఇక్కడ నెట్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది, సిగ్నల్ ప్రాబ్లం వల్ల కొంచెం అలా క్లియర్. దిస్ ఈస్ బ్రీఫ్లీ ద హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ ద ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్. ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్ కంప్యూటర్స్ డస్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ ఓఎస్. సెకండ్ జనరేషన్ కంప్యూటర్స్ హ్యావ్ ద GM OS. Third generation computers have multi-programming OS. Fourth generation contains the Windows operating system, Apple Macintosh. Like that, these two are some examples only. ఇవి ఫేమస్ కాబట్టి ఇటు ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గా చెప్పుకున్నాము. ఫోర్త్ జనరేషన్ ఇలాంటి ఓఎస్ చాలా వచ్చాయి, కాబట్టి ఇవి రెండు మనకి ఫేమస్ కాబట్టి యాపిల్ ఓఎస్ అండ్ విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్. We are discussing only those two in this slide. This is briefly the history of the operating systems. Is it okay? See these points. ఈ పాయింట్స్ 7 and ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే we will discuss. See these points, then if you have any doubts we will discuss. ఒకసారి పాయింట్స్ 7 అండి, ఫోర్త్ జనరేషన్ లో read all the points in this fourth generation. Anybody have any doubt at any line? We will discuss that line. Okay na guys, is it okay this fourth generation? Okay guys, next class tomorrow we will see the types of operating systems. ఇక్కడ నుంచి మాత్రం ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ గా ఉంటుందండి. ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్, ఆల్ దీస్ ఆర్ ద ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ అండ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ దట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు లెర్న్. టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఓఎస్ నుంచి మాత్రం ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ అన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ వన్. ఓకే, రేపు నుంచి మాత్రం మనకి ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఈ హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ ఓఎస్ అంతా థియరీ పార్ట్ కాబట్టి నో నీడ్ ఆఫ్ దట్, ఇట్ డస్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ మచ్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్, బట్ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ క్లాస్ వీ హ్యావ్ ద హ్యూజ్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఈస్ దేర్. సో లిసన్ కేర్ఫుల్లీ ఫ్రమ్ ద టుమారో క్లాస్ అన్వర్డ్స్, విచ్ ఇస్ ద టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్. ఇక్కడ నుంచి మాత్రం మనకు అన్ని ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండి. We will learn clearly about these things from the next class onwards. Is it okay, guys? Okay, guys, we will meet in the next class again. Thank you very much.